Hello, it's me, and I'm here to give an answer to the challenge that I have of solving this puzzle layer by layer. So, how many of you did it? How many of you could do it? How many of you tried? Well, you all have this puzzle. It's a nice alternative solve strategy. So let's see how we can navigate our way through this. Again, layer by layer means one layer, including all of these pieces and all of these pieces, followed by this layer, and all the pieces therein, and this layer as well. Now what you've probably found is as you were doing it, to solve one whole layer, you're actually solving components of the other layer. That's okay. The whole key is to not let any of these layers go before solving any of the layer previous to that. You can mess them up temporarily as you're solving the other layers, but they have to be sound. So let's go ahead and get this scrambled and see how we can do this. Abracadabra. Okay, pretty good scramble. So the first step is let's pick a side, any side. Well, let's pick a color. After all, this is an even layer puzzle, so it's really a question of colors rather than sides. The colors define the sides as opposed to any cores. So start off with the green. So I'm going to solve the green layer, the green center here first. Now I know that by doing so, I'm actually solving 1/2 of the inner 2x2 of this real 4x4. So let's see. This guy's actually going to come over to here. So these two are lined up because these are lined up. So again, you can put other components of the other layers only insofar as it covers this layer. So this belongs up here. Just move this in. What I'm doing is I'm just doing a 2x2 solve with the first layer. Okay, so this is here and these are all in as well. Now, I'm not going to do the rest of the 2x2 solve. The half of the 2x2 solve was done only for the purpose of putting this entire layer in, and that entire layer is the end of the puzzle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these guys in. Now understand, when I put these guys in, I'm not putting in the centers of the green side. I'm actually putting in the centers of 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. I'm putting in just 1/4 of the center of 4 of the sides in order to do this as a layer by layer. That's what makes this so unique as a layer by layer solve, because you're actually putting in a couple of different, if I were to do it the same way here, then you'd see me, well, there's no inner 2x2, but you'd see me solve this, this, and this and say, oh, I've done part of the first layer. Confusing, I know, but there it is. So I'm just going to put these in the way that I showed on how to do it as a real 5x5, or real 4x4 rather. So what belongs here? Well, I'm going to look for a green, but not just any green. It can't be these. It's got to be a green that combines with this as well. So it's got to be green and orange. So here's a green and orange over here. So I'm going to use the same techniques showed in the previous tutorial. I'm going to move this to the bottom, take this green and orange, and simply move it to here. Well, it's got to be here rather. So this green and orange, they happen to be both next to each other. So I'm going to move this down on the right, move it to the left. Down on the left, back to the right, up on the right, back to the left, up on the left, back over here. So this is correct. Now I'm going to move this one in. So green and red. So find the green and red. Here's your green and red here. It's the wrong one. So I'm looking for this one. Move this over here. Turn, turn, turn. Turn, 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 turn. And this moves back. Okay, so we've got these two. What about this? Do we like it? Not really, because it's green and this has to be white over here. So we might as well do that one next. So find the other green and white. Here's a green and red. That ain't it. Here's a green and white. So actually I'll move this to the bottom. It's the wrong green and white because this can't move over to here. Here's a green and white, so this doesn't belong here, it belongs here. So let's move this up to here, bring it just above where it needs to be, hover it there, move it down from the left, bring it to the right, down on the right, back to the left, up on the left, back to the right, up on the right. This turns back. Okay, so now this is in, and I know that they're properly placed if I'm putting the correct pieces here as well. Okay, keep going here. Green. Well, yeah, so this is going to be the green and yellow. So find a green and yellow. Right over here, green and yellow. All right, so let's see, move this to here. Bring it in position, green to come to here so that this yellow can come to here. Is this the same piece? Move it in, turn it around. So the process is the same as I've shown in the previous tutorial. We just have to keep changing perspectives a little bit. Okay, so this is all in. How about this? Green and white over here. I need another green and white. I have to find it. Here's another green and white. We'll move this to the top. So this green and white belongs here with this green and white over here. So this moves into the correct place as it's green and white, down. I'm relying heavily upon the knowledge of what we did in the last tutorial when the challenge was issued. It's the same technique, I'm just not doing it on one side, I'm doing it on all the different sides. Okay, move it to here, green and yellow. No, that's correct. Aha! Right here. I think it might have been right in front of me too. Okay, so this belongs down here, so I have to do the 2R, move it to the left, 2L, back to the right, 2R, back here, and back here, and voila. So now we do these guys. So I'm looking for the green and red. Here's a green and red right here, right above where I need it to be. Down, turn, down, turn. Okay, using the same technique. One more, that's going to be the green and blue. No, actually green and yellow. Orange, green and orange. It's the only one left over, which is this guy. Move him up to the top, bring him in. Turn, and there. Okay, so we have this part of it, but now we have to just solve these guys. Now, in solving this, we understand these are going to be solved. The centerpiece just on this top layer here, these pieces over here. So all these are going to be solved as well. So that's fine. That's part of our layer by layer. It's just one of the advantages. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put these in as we did with a layer by layer solve with this guy way back when. The good news is this kind of takes a super cube portion out of it as well. So I'm going to look on the top here for any greens. So this green and white is going to go down to here. The way this is going to work, same sliding U technique. Bring it down on the right, move it to the left. Now I have to move it down on the left on this side, down on the left. Back to the right, move it back to the right, in the middle, back to the left, up on the left, bring it back in here. So you're going to find that this is in. Don't worry about this yet. That's going to come later. I'm just going to put these outer edges and then the corners in. Another green that I might be able to find. Well, with these guys here, this belongs over here. Move it directly opposite. Do 2L, then move it to the right. Do 2R, not from the center, but from the edge here. 2R, back to the left, 2L, back to the right, 2R, move it in. This is in where it needs to be, and it's reduced. I happen to have these two over here, so watch how easy this is going to be. Both of these belong down here. So I'm going to do a middle 2M, move it to the left or the right, 2L, back to the middle, 2M, back here to the left, 2L, and boom. So they're both placed in here. This one belongs here. 2L, move to the right, 2R, move it back. So it's a nice, fast, easy, very satisfying way of solving it. This needs to be brought up to here. Well, actually, in the meantime, we can do this guy. This goes over to here. Now, this is how this solve goes. The fun thing about this is that there's a variety of ways that it can go, and with a variety of difficulties. This needs to be brought up here, but it's better to have the color facing this way because it can be brought down better. So I'm simply going to move it up to plop it in, get it out of the way, and move this back. So now I just have to move this right above, hover it right above where it needs to be, down on the right, turn it to the left, oops, over here, down on the left, back to the right, up on the right, back to the left, up on the left, back over here. So now this is it. We have one more to do. Where's the green? It's here. I got to move it up. So let's move it up, out of the way, move this back down so I don't mess this up. Bring this where it has to be. same technique and splat. Okay, so now these are all in. Corners are easy. Find them where they are here and just glue them in. Simple 3x3 technique. Nothing different here. Turn, turn, turn. This guy just gets turned in. Turn, turn. Okay, so we've got all of these in. We don't have the layer done yet. We need to get these guys, which are the true centers of this side. We get these centers in, no changes, no different, the same way that we had done before. So I'm going to hold this upside down, looking for the orange and white. Orange and white. Let's see. We have an orange and white over here. The way that this is going to go is this is the wrong orange and white, because when I move this here, this will occupy this position. So I need another orange and white, which is right here. Now, unfortunately, it's in the same layer, so I'm going to skip that one now because it's in the same layer, so I'm just going to skip it so I can take it out later. So let's do the white and red. Maybe that'll cooperate a little bit more. Here's a white and red, but it's the wrong one. So let's find another one. So not this white and red. How about this white and red? Well, I can move this to the opposite side because this is actually at the opposite side here. This white will come all the way down to here. 2R, move it to the left. 2L, move it to the right. So notice I'm changing the different layers of R's and L's based on what my needs are. Are they these guys or these guys? If it's these inner edges, then my L's and my R's are going to be the center. If it's the outer one, then my R's or L's are going to be the center, and then my L's, my second L or my second R will be the tip. You know, the side over here. So by doing that, by changing that, I can variate. Is it these guys that I'm putting in or these guys doing exactly the same algorithm? Just redefining what my R's and my L's are or my L's and my R's are. So what did I do wrong? Move this in, move it to the side. Okay. So what I did wrong is I put this one out. By going to the end, I move this guy. It's got to be this guy. 2L, move back, here, 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 and back. So now this is in. Yellow and orange, right over here, and now we just move this in. Put it in position, moving from the center, and turn. Okay, one more. That's yellow, that's orange and white. Here's an orange and white. All of these seem to be on the opposite side for some reason. Well, whatever, I'll take it. Turn and turn. If they weren't on the other side, opposite side, we just plan it accordingly. So as you can see, we now have the first layer here. So this is done. Now we do the second layer. The second layer has a good portion of it already done, because many of these pieces were the same pieces as aspects of the layer here. These pieces were the similar pieces as these guys, and these pieces are the same piece as these guys. Now this part is the easiest part because all of these are already in. So these are already good. So all I've got to do is put these edges in. To put these edges in, I simply do the same Rubik's Cube algorithm to take the edge from the top and move it to the bottom here. So let's look for anything that's up here that belongs down here. Well, I've got this white and red that belongs here. So I simply do UR, UIRI, UIFI, UF. Pops it into here, and at the same time it reduces it with these inner edges, which are actually centerpieces. So now we do the same thing. This doesn't belong here, it belongs here, so we move on. This moves down here. So this is the easy part of it. And turn. Okay, so this is in, and we look for any other opportunities up here. This comes down to here. Turn, turn, and turn. So we're good here. We have one more. So to do that, I'm going to find it over here, which is right up here. UR, UIRI, UIL. Okay, so that was easy. All of these guys were in, so I just had to get these. So now I've got the second layer, and I've got these two. Now to complete this, the third layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these guys in. To put all of these guys in just means completing my 2x2 solve. And that's what I'm going to do. By completing my 2x2 solve, these guys are necessarily going to be in. So you can do it in the way of your choice. It won't disrupt anything. So this is simply the second layer of a 2x2 solve. Bang, splat, done. So now these guys are in, which means this is necessarily going to be in as well. The next step is these little pieces over here, which are aspects of the centers from the other sides. So you see that these appear to be in, but they're not correct. This one is because there's a blue, but this one is not. So now I have to do a little bit of arranging and rearranging, some finagling, to find the right orange and yellow and blue, rather. See if we can find it. Should be fairly easy. It's right here. So how am I going to get this to here? Well, what I can do is move it across to here, then move this en masse over to here, and simply place it by the technique that we know. Now something to bear in mind, you're not going to mess anything up because whatever I move down to here is going to 3-cycle with this piece here. So this will come here, this will come here, and this will come here. And the fact is, anything here we don't use anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. So down on the left, move it to the right. Down on the right, back to the left, up, turn, up, and turn. Reconstruct things the way they were. Whoop. And as you can see, none of these are offset, but this one is in. So I've got these two that are in, so I'm going to move to this one. Looking for the white and blue, this guy here. So will this be a little kinder? And it will. So I'm going to move this like so. I'm going to move this white over to here to 3-cycle with this. Move it down on the left, turn it to the right, down on the right, back to the left, up, turn, up, and back. Okay, so at least we could do that. And now this guy moves harmlessly back in. So now this is in. How about this? How about the other white and blue? Another white and blue, let's see. Right over here, here's a white and blue. And this can very seamlessly pop into here to replace these two. Turn, well, let's think. The problem is that if I do that, I'm going to involve this in the 3-cycle. If I move this down. Because this will come here, and this will come here. So how can I do this without involving this guy in a 3-cycle that I don't particularly want? Well, why don't I bump this out of the way, move this down so that this is now involved, and bump it back. I just have to remember to undo exactly what I just did. And now without thinking, let's go ahead and do it. Down on the left, turn it to the right. Down on the right, back to the left, turn, turn, and turn. Now let's undo what we did. This moves like so, this moves in, and this moves back. So we did it. We managed to do that little bit of doing and undoing. And again, that's the fun part of this kind of a solve. How about red and blue? Well, it's obviously not going to be this. The red and blue will be this. So how are we going to get this one in? Well, yeah, once again, we're going to have a little bit of a trouble with this. Yep, actually no trouble at all. So this is going to move to here and then plop it in there. We're not 3-cycling anything we ought not to. Turn, turn, and back. Move this back in. All right, we're cruising. Now this one, the other red and blue, it's right over here. So this is just a matter of bringing it like so. I'll be 3-cycling these two with this. No worries. I don't have to rack my brain about what I'm doing. I simply just put it in position. And there we have it. Okay, so everything is in except, well, no, not nearly everything. So yellow and blue. Let's see, yellow and blue. Here's yellow and blue over here. And somehow how we have to get this guy to here. Best way of doing that, move it here, nope. Oh, that's easy. Move it just like this will come to here. And I won't be 3 cycling, whoop, well, let's be careful with that. Yeah, 3 cycling this, we don't really care if that's in or not yet. We're not at that layer. That is layer non grata. Turn, turn, and back. Move this back in. Okay. So this is good. I've got those orange and blues that were just giving me no end of trouble. Okay, I think the best thing for me to do is just get it out of here. Kind of put it on the top. So I'm going to involve what I can with a 3 cycle in a way that's not going to be particularly harmful. I don't want to involve this, so that leaves me with any one of these that I can involve. So I'm going to bring this down here and just 3 cycle this out of here. Bring this to here. Well, actually, I'm going to bring this to here, and this to here. That way I'm not going to involve this over here. So down on the left, turn it to the right. On the right, here, 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 and here. And then bring it back. I'll bring this up here, and what I've done, in essence, is taken the one that was here out of the picture. Thank goodness. Where did it end up? Well, it ended up here. This may be a little easier to deal with because now I can move this to here and move this down over here. Okay, once I move this down over here, I can now 3 cycle this to here, and this to here. Turn, 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 up, and across, and bring this up. And lo and behold, we did it. The evil plan worked. So now the other one over here, I put it in a good position, can 3 cycle this. And turn, move this up. Okay, what this means is I have all of these guys in. Now it's a question of getting these in. You can see some are in, like this one. So here's what we're going to do. This is probably the more complicated aspect, which some of you guys may have been having trouble with. The key here is we're going to take the ones that are up here and move them to where they're supposed to be with a 3 cycle. The way this 3 cycle is going to work, this guy needs to come to here. This 3 cycle is going to take this, move it to here, this will come to here, and this will come to here. Now I've done this in my layer by layer solve, and there's no difference with this. No difference at all. I just have to coordinate it because it's not going to touch this piece at all. So this will come to here, this will come to here, and this will come to here. The way this is going to work, holding this to where it's supposed to be, the 3 cycle down to here, skipping this one, we're going to do a U, and then this is going to be brought down to here where it's supposed to be. Whoop. Get it back in there. So we did our U, then we're going to move our R here to an RI. Now we're going to take this D, do a D, then do a 2R, do a DI, and I'll move this guy back with the middle R. Now we're going to get things back by doing another D, do a 2R, and a DI, and now this moves back with the UI. And at the end of the day, that'll get that back in. So that's the version where you have to move it down from here. So this is in and this is in. What else needs to be brought in? This guy has to come to here. Now here's the problem. To do that, this has to be positioned like this. This will come to here, which is great, but now we're going to bump this guy out. So what we need to do, now notice when I did this algorithm, only those 3 were affected. Nothing else was affected. So all I have to do is put a different piece other than this into here. So I'm going to take this, move it down to here, and this will harmlessly, seamlessly go up to here. So the left-sided version, the version where this has to come to here, when you're holding it like this, you just reverse it. So in this case, we have a UI, L, DI, 2L, D, do an LI, UI, 2L, D, and then this comes back with a U. Then I have to take the deconstruction that I did and simply move that back. Now this is still protected, this is in, now I have one more to go over here, and I'll do the same technique. Okay, move this over to, well, this is going to be from the right side, so it's going to be from here. This will go to here. This has to move out of the way. Move this down. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. Down, across, move it up. Move this twice. This comes down. This moves back. Up, moves twice, comes back. This comes back over here, and we move this back. So, to generate that algorithm, I use the techniques that I've described before. But anyway, now we have all of these in. And we have one more left to go, which is the top layer. We have all these other layers, so it's kind of a cool thing to see right now where we have 3 of the 4 layers done. So what we have is this is already automatically solved. It has to be solved because they're the same pieces as these guys. So now what we want to do next is we want to rotate these where they have to be, and then we have to put them in. To rotate this, we simply do a Red Bull algorithm. But here's the trick. Here's the problem. When I do a Red Bull algorithm with this, you're going to find it's going to offset these centers. For every time I do a Red Bull algorithm, these centers, these 2x2 centers, are going to come off by 90 degrees. They're going to come up by 90 degrees. That's okay, because the total number of Red Bulls that I'll have to do will eventually rotate it back. So let's go ahead and rotate this back up, since we have sort of that parity situation where I've got these 2 edges down and these edges up. So 2R, 2B, 2U, L. 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. Alright, so hallelujah, we got this up, but you can see that the white came up over here. But that's okay because we're going to have to be doing some more Red Bull algorithms anyway. Because here's the problem. As I look around here, I see these are reduced, this is not, and this is not. So it's going to be a little complicated. I have what I've called a floppy parity. What you want to do in this situation is you want to take the 2 that are reduced and move them opposite each other. So I'm going to hold this here and do my SUNY until this comes to here. R, U, R, I, U, R, 2U, R, I. Okay, now the floppy parity, luckily, what I'm going to do is move the 2 that have to be exchanged opposite each other. The floppy parity luckily requires 3 Red Bull algorithms. If I do it 3 times, first time we'll bring the white to here, second time we'll bring it to here, and the third time we'll bring it to here. So the puzzle keeps track, it keeps count. The way that I deal with this is I'm going to take this side, do a 2B and move this down over here. Do my first Red Bull to flip-flop these guys. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. Okay, so it did flip these 2. It also caused the first exchange over here, the first rotation of my 2x2. I'm now going to take this and double turn it like so. Having double turned it, I now do another Red Bull. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. Okay, having done that, I now do another 2L over here to get these 2 reds, red and blues, to line up. Kersplat. Okay, now I can even move this back, doesn't even matter. So now I have one more Red Bull to turn this right side up. And notice now this is ready to come over to here. One more Red Bull will fix this and fix this at the same time. 2R, 2B, 2U, L. 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. And there you have it. So that's all been put in. Now here's a problem though. In doing that, we have to do a little bit of fixing up here. It turns out that these 2 and these 2 got knocked out. So we're going to do a little bit of cleanup here. I'm looking for the white and orange, which is right up here. Nope, actually right up here. Right over here. So I'm going to take this, looking for the white and orange, which is right over here. So I'm going to do 2L, move it to the R, 2R, back to the L, 2L, back to the R, to R, move it back. And now same thing, the orange and yellow, right here. Now, there was always some center cleanup that we had to do every time we did the Red Bull. This is no different. Same kind of thing. And if you recognize what I'm doing, you'll see that this was all very expected. And in. Okay, so no worries. Now we've got that, and these are now all rotated. So now the final frontier. We have to coordinate these guys, and how are we going to do that? Well, it's a little simpler than you might think, but to coordinate them, you're going to see that all these are now where they need to be, which is fine, but these are not. Turns out these pieces are, but these have to be flip-flopped. So I have to coordinate corner swaps, and these corner swaps have to be in such a way as to coordinate all these being placed in at the same time that these are being placed in. So the way that we're going to do that is if I hold it here and I do a corner swap, then what's going to happen is all these guys are going to be in, which is fine, but one of these are going to be out. So we don't necessarily want to do it that way. If I hold it here and I do a corner swap, then then one of these are going to be in, and the rest are going to be out. Same thing with this. One of these are going to be in and the rest are going to be out. So hold the one that's in if you have this configuration in front of you, do a corner swap. You'll mess this up, but there will be another corner pair that's in. In this case, there will also just be one corner pair that's in too. It's just how that works. So let's see what happens. Corner swap, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, move it back, and now let's see. So these two are the only outer ones that are in, and these two are the only inner ones that are in. I just have to put these together, these two ones that are in together. The way that I'm going to do that is another SUNY. I'm going to hold it to where the two that are in are to the side. Now when I do the SUNY, these guys are going to be orbiting around, but these centers here will stay fixed. These inner edges or centers, however you want to look at it. So I'm going to do it until these two match up with these two that are in. It doesn't matter if they're a different color. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. And do it again. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. And lo and behold, these are now together. So now what I can do is put these two sets that are in, move it to the left side, and a corner swap should be able to do that. A corner swap will put this to here. But here's the problem. The corner swap might put that to here, but this orange is on the wrong side. So we're still not coordinated. What actually has to happen now is I have to get this to here. I have to reorient things. So the way that I would usually do that is I'd either do an adjacent edge swap or an opposite edge swap. It doesn't really matter. Suffice it to say that a corner swap is not going to put these in, so they were discoordinate. So let's just do an opposite edge swap. 2R to U, 2R to U, 2R to U. So lo and behold, I have a white here, I have a white here, and I should be able to corner swap it. But here's the problem. When I corner swap it, this is in the wrong side. This is not facing the left anymore with this. So now that I have that swapped, I have to once again get this back to where this is supposed to be. And it kind of re-coordinated things. So do the SUNY again until this orange, this yellow rather, is by these red pairs. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. So now you see it's back in. Now what I should point out is you have a little bit of misplacement here. Don't worry about that. Keep that on this side. It's all going to be dealt with when you edge swap it back. Take this, put this on the left side, and now you can see red and red so that these can swap back, yellow to yellow here. So go ahead and do a edge swap, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UID, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Move this back, and we're good. You can see that all these have been reduced. Just to get this back, get our misplacement back again, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, and all is right with the world. So now what we're left with doing is let's just SUNY the heck out of this thing until these outer and inner ones match up. R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. Because what's happening is that these aren't going to change, but these are. We look around, any match? Nope, not yet. Do it again. R, 2U, RI, and bang, this is in. And this is in. So we have, we have a 4-layer parity. The way to deal with this, might as well put this in here, is let's get the ones in opposite each other. So hold any one in front of you, this one or this one, any one that's been fully reduced. Do RU, RIU, R2U, RI. This will be the same. We want it to be across. U, RIU, R2U, RI. Now they're across. Now that we have this, we need to find a way to flip-flop these two without flip-flopping these. The way to do that is our old friend, the URF algorithm that we find in a supercube 4x4. Supercube 4x4s can fix this parity by flip-flopping edges without affecting centers. If I just do a URF like this, to U, to R, to F, I'm going to flip-flop centers, and that's not what I want to do. The way this algorithm works is you do a UI, R, Fi, then U, RI, F. We do a U and a D, finish it up with Fi, R, UI, and F, RI, and finish that up here with a middle DI. Okay, so that will in effect rotate these guys back. So these are all in. Now all we have to do is get the corners in. And that's no different than any other solve. So this is correct, this is not, this is not. U, R, UI, Li, U, Ri, UI, L. And we see that they're all in. They're all unfortunately flipped. So Ri, Di, R, D, Ri, Di, R, D. Move this in. Ri, Di, R, D, Ri, Di, R, D. Keep going until it cooperates. Move this one in, same thing. D-I-R-D, alright, D-I-R-D. Move this guy in. And then, before you know it, you have done it. There it is. Perhaps the first layer-by-layer solve of a circle 4x4, which is actually a layer-by-layer solve of a real 4x4. Done, finished, and there you have it, another layer by layer, as well as another circle solve and another real 4x4 solve. And that is the answer to the challenge. So give it a try. You all have the proper techniques to do it. You just have to work on coordinating the movements and do a little bit of strategy. So give it a shot. Thanks for watching.